Okay. Welcome. We are now live on YouTube. Welcome, YouTubers. Welcome, my Zoom. Welcome, friends. Welcome. Oh, we are now. Get all my screens going. How's everybody? Ah, thank you. Had a good helper. How shiny. I look so pretty. Let's see what we got here. So welcome, friends. Let me give you guys a minute to log in, and then we will get started. If you are on YouTube, if you don't mind, please throwing a heart or a wave or a hi in the chat. It helps me to see you're here. Welcome. Thank you, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Awesome. Okay. Let me give you guys just a minute here and I'll get you guys logged in. All right. So again, YouTube, if you guys are live streaming this, throw me a higher wave. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Okay. All right. We'll get started as usual and let the rest slide in as they always do. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Truth Tribe. I'm Dawn Thompson. If you are a newbie, welcome. If you are one of the veterans and you've been here for years, I love you and thank you all for being here. Remember, you are perfect exactly where you are right at this now very moment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. As much as everybody wants to make you think you're crazy, you're not. Remember, the Truth Tribe is to illuminate your self-awareness in relationships and revealing boulders that are affecting the three biggies, as I call them, your health, your wealth, and your love. And remember that we always talk about one of your hot spots, as I call them, in your birth chart or your astrology chart. We only use your birth chart, the birth date chart that you were born on when I review hotspots. So don't look at, your transits and all these other charts. You don't need an astrology wheel for Truth Tribe, but it sure helps when I'm talking about stuff at the end. Why do I use astrology? It's faster to see where you get stuck. It is absolutely my belief, and you all know this, that you don't need therapy, my friends, when a few minutes of self-awareness gives you the validation to clear up your path. Now, if you don't have that chart, remember you can go onto my website, IDeserveItNow.com, or my name, DawnThompson.com, and just tap on courses or scroll down and you can see the Zodiac wheel as your medicine wheel. You can get your chart. You can get these hot spots. It'll give them to you real clear. So when we're talking about it, you have them, but you do not need them. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about your self-worth, where it sits in your subconscious. All right. So why do so many people reject self-awareness astrology teaching? I find this so fascinating because the word astrology gets people all tripped up. And I don't look at astrology the same way as everybody else. I look at it as a tool to help us become self-aware and more advanced in our evolution and ascension. Because your entire lives, that's why people reject it or are afraid of it or don't understand it. And if we started with birth, teaching our children this, we wouldn't have the world we have. Because your entire life's education has told you that if you had the answers within, you wouldn't be seeking external to give you their bullshit financially monopolizing solutions that do not heal your soul. Okay. And so sadly, you all come with it, and it just breaks my heart because we should know this, that we all come with a freaking blueprint that so many just aren't even aware of, except for the version that people have known about, right? That version of tell me my future, tell me when the pain's going to be over, right? Reveal my past. Why did it happen? Tell me what happened back then over there when I got divorced. Fortune teller Dawn, help me. Which I find fascinating because I don't use it that way. I don't even think about it that way. What's more fascinating is that you can see in your birth chart the type of marriages that you were going to attract relationships, friends, children, careers, all of it. It's in your chart. Remember, if you don't have a chart, you don't need it, but I guarantee you, you will go looking. If you don't know your chart and you're like, oh, I don't know, but I can tell you, if you look at your chart, you'll be able to see, you will go looking for the pain point of your parents' marriage or relationships or partners. Love is love, even if it's unhealthy love, and you will look for those situations that match the love you learned, and you're going to be drawn to these people. Your subconscious is desiring unhealthy love for the safety that you learned as a child because it was safe, right? It is the match to your parents' version of love and or marriage or how they experience relationships. And most of us didn't have parents that didn't know any other way. It's not their fault, but they were taught not what they wanted emotionally. Okay. So what they weren't taught how to raise their self-worth. They were just taught follow the rules externally. This is what you do. Okay. And so your self-worth is associated with your subconscious. And it was programmed up to 10 years of age. A lot of scientists want to say it's 7, but I'm watching it hits at about 10. And you can accept and become self-aware of what you attract is your 9-year-old little selves safety protocols for life that you will feel your insecurities continue to rule you from that subconscious down below because you learned it and then you pushed it down, you mastered it, and then you just start replaying this in your real life and you don't even know where it's coming. Like, why do I do this? Why do I keep repeating? Why do I keep replaying this? So unless you have courage, okay, courage within to see the reality in any category of life that reflects or mirrors your parents' marriage, you're always going to feel like a 9-year-old living in an adult relationship, an adult body. Okay. And so this is why for the next several years, and I'll get into it for the next several years, and in the transiting planets, the planets that are in the sky giving us, again, they're not doing anything to us. All they're doing is giving you information, waves of symbolic information to understand how to change. So for the next several years, this is why you're either going to 10x your life and go big, or you're going to struggle by resisting feeling your way. The new way is feeling, not emotions, right? But or I shouldn't say that. Tapping into the emotional frequency, not sadness, crying, for me, I'm depressed, none of that. Feeling your way through situations in life instead of using the old protocols of thinking your way through them. So it's spirit over thought. And remember, we are ascending out of the lowest spiritual and emotional poverty we've ever seen. So now you're being pushed into growing out of the programmed mind and tapping into our truth souls, right? The truth of your soul for GPS guidance. Like, okay, the soul will guide me, trusting it, feeling the intuition. So if spirituality, as we talked about a couple classes ago, is self-awareness, like who the heck am I really? That's self-awareness. Who am I? And emotional awareness is trusting the feeling of each experience that it's giving you so you can grow. My only mantra lately, I mean daily, even down to hourly, is does this raise my energy or lower my energy? Even if it's neutral, I'm okay. Neutral's good. Neutral, I can just go with the flow. But if it's something, a person, a situation, experience is lowering my energy, it's not okay. It doesn't feel good, and I do not continue to engage. All right. So our internal emotions, someone's saying, so emotions are really external and emotions are internal. There is no inner, outer. What I'm trying to say, we tap into the emotions. Let's just tap into emotions. Okay. The emotional aspect, right? When you start feeling that emotion and tapping into feeling that emotion, yes, internally, that's when we start tapping into go, this doesn't feel like it's raising my energy. It's your feeling. It doesn't mean, do I feel sad? Do I feel this? Okay. It's an emotional barometer that you are tapping into, your internal emotional barometer. We're not tapping in. So once you start tapping in, it's going to start overriding that 9-year-old brain that has this safety programming, which is why relationships right now on the planet, you're watching everyone. There's a ton of men's groups and emotional support and why we're letting go and what different ways of bringing yourself up into the new you, reparenting yourself. It's why relationships are being forced to change how they unite as well. Okay. I've been doing, you guys, self-worth coaching for 20 years. It's like I've been doing training and all this stuff for 20. I was like, oh my God, you age yourself, but I've been doing this for 20 years. And I will tell you that no matter what the circumstances are that the clients are struggling with right now, whether it's health, wealth, love in some sort of relationship, right? Or all three that you encounter as an adult, they are all in some way, right? They all in some way drag into it their childhood wounds unconsciously and unknowingly to recreate safety in the adult experience. Unknowingly, they don't know they're doing it, okay? And that safety as a child that sat there in these environments, it didn't matter what they were, in these unhealthy environments manifests from your 9-year-old self version of that child, the 9-year-old trying to be a perfectionist, the mediator, unwelcomed, protector, guilt, trust, rejection, safety, sadness, fear, or shame. Right? These are just to name a few of what you experienced as a child. It doesn't matter. It's in the past, but it's something that will continue to replicate itself in relationships if you don't know you're acting out of your 9-year-old self. And if I go into some of those, shame, such a big deal of shame on the planet, is the lowest emotion to feel internally. But many are still locked in their mental jails of childhood safety from unhealthy environments, creating these safety protocols. And it manifests into their adult life. And they're like, what's wrong with me? Nothing. You just got to check yourself. Am I being 9 or am I being an adult with this person instead of the life that you want? But instead, you're using these protection habits in adult life, and they manifest out of you. And you would think, oh, it's just in a relationship. No. No. They manifest out of you as OCD, addictions, food disorders, depression, poverty, lack, abuse, mentally or physically. These are just to name a few. Insecure, emotionally unavailable people, right? These are just to name a few, but the biggie that shows up where these show up in your life, this unhealthy love is in health issues or diseases that say no for you when your inner voice doesn't have the courage to do so because it didn't as a child, so it stays safe. Unknowingly, of course, you're not doing this intentionally because you were not taught you have the power to redesign your safety protocols to higher frequency blueprints at any moment in time. Okay, your soul came with a purpose and a karma to upgrade these insecurities and end generations of trauma. There's this great book I've been listening to. I listen to a lot of work on this. There's so many out there, but it's called When the Body Says No. So if you want the scientific explanation of the mind-body connection, it's really good at what I'm teaching you tonight, right? And I teach this daily that your reality in the world, whether it's relationship with work or people or your children or money or communication, your reality reflects your relationships in your health, wealth, and love. So the reality of what the relationship you have with those is always from the 9-year-old self until you say, no, I can have a better way. I can upgrade my life. I want the easy way out. And the easy way out is to pick your dream life. But we are so ashamed from wanting more, from saying, I deserve it. Everybody out loud, probably nobody's around you, say, I deserve it. I deserve all of it. That's what we do in the DMT method, the live event. I teach you how to not just do 4 hotspots, all of it. But the tricky part is to become self-aware enough to see where you are still in your 9-year-old safety protocols, to see where you need to reset your emotional barometer to you and not to the little you that learned as a 9-year-old child for safety mechanisms. Okay. Because guys, in my 20 years of private coaching, hundreds of clients, one thing is always true. Okay. One thing is always true. Their relationships in every category, but especially the big ones, their relationship with their health, their relationship with their wealth, their relationship with their marriage or lack of, is a replication of their 9-year-old self-seeking safety, right? So most are shocked to admit that they're repeating that marriage or energy that was held in their parents, what their parents had, and they exhibited and they pushed out energetically. And it's most often the one they didn't want, the unhealthy love version of their parents they didn't want. So they use their bodies to get sick or stop participating in the world out of inability to use their voice instead. Or they use money to either create lack so they can stay in victim mind and not have to speak their truth emotionally, or they create huge wealth so they have control over others and their environment, health, wealth, and love, or they attract unavailable partners emotionally. Emotionally unavailable is very hard to connect with someone because they're playing out the 9-year-old energy, which is what they learned for safety in a relationship. Even though they love you, they can't figure out how to be where you're at. So does your birth chart reveal where your 9-year-old, emotions sit? Absolutely, right? Does this chart keep you in a 9-year-old's only emotional state? No, right? It's not that. It's your choice to reveal, review, and reset to a 10x frequency in that category. So I'll pull up the chart in a minute, but tonight's hotspot tip, if you have your birth chart, or if not, go get your birth chart on my website. Your moon, where your moon sat at the time you were born in your chart, it stands for and it sits on and it expresses your emotions when you were a child growing up, or your place to go for safety and security. Your inner child, it's your sensitive self where you don't want to grow up, or where you had to grow up so fast and you need to balance that childlike sense of joy. It can be low or high. Even if you overdid it, there's some area there where you get emotional. So tonight, I want you to review where that little blue moon sits in what category of your chart. Remember, we're always more focused on the category and not so much for the moon and the sign. And remember, this is only your birth chart. It never changes. This is where your personal user's manual for life is, right? So it's simply if you choose to use it in high frequency or low frequency mode. So now go check the moon and what category do you need to self-check your self-worth in that category. Does this category get you emotional at times and you need to step on it and put the brakes on and decide, do I have emotional regulation? So whatever category your moon sits in, it's where your emotions were regulated as a child by a family environment, by mom, in your childhood home, whether you had lots of siblings, right? Emotional regulation, and likely how you learned or didn't learn to feel your intuition, to feel what you wanted. Instead, most were self-taught to feel good and safe. So as a 9-year-old, you're teaching yourself by yourself without proper emotional support that you needed to create a protocol to keep the adults calm so your nervous system was calm. So in your immature 9-year-old brain, you adapted. But this emotional protection protocol is not working for anyone anymore, and it's backfiring. That's why I bring it up. So many are super frustrated because your brains are not in sync with your soul's truth. So I'm going to pull up the wheel for all of you, all right, and show you. If you don't have a chart, pick one and you go, where is my weakest spot in this circle, in this link? Okay, where do I get the most tripped up? Or if you've done several of the hot spots with me, I want you guys to circle or highlight where the 4 hot spots that we talk about. You should have gone through the 4, right? The last 4 weeks, and now we're back on another 2. And so when you circle one down here and you go, wow, my emotional moon sits in this fifth house of children and entertainment and creativity and fun and romance. That's where mine sits, right? So when I'm low and I'm not feeling confident or I'm not having fun, right? I start feeling a little bit emotional, depressed, kind of down on myself. When my children or my romance, my husband are having challenges, I start to deviate and lose myself into the external instead of staying in balance and creating more of a fun and finding a creative outlet for me first. You always have to fill your moon in first. These are just showing you, highlight the areas of your life. If you don't have a chart, a birth chart with you, circle, go, which one of these do I get the most emotional? Which category trips me up? Because you know right away, you go, oh, it's marriage and partners, right? Oh, no, it's money. It's my money. My money gets me tripped up all the time. It's not just your money and earned income. It's your possessions, things you really want that you can't have. It's your worth. It's your values. What are you how valuable are you? Communication. How well do you learn things? Are you ability to speak? Where your siblings fell into the mix as a child? Where does your moon sit? And so when you think of it from that perspective, it helps you understand that there is more to the picture than you realize. Okay, because when we look at this wheel, your intuition is where your moon sits. It's where we feel things. It's where the mother energy, it's your feminine. So your intuition knows to raise your reality in health, wealth, and love. Okay. But you're in this battle with your own self all the time. So not the external parenting, the mom, the emotion, the security that you got growing up, which is where that little 9-year-old self plays itself out. That's external parenting or even societal programming. That's what we learned in school. Good, bad, emotionally regulate, stay safe. They don't like how I learn. I can't learn sitting down. I got to stand up. I mean, all this bullshit that emotionally you were never able to just go, this is who I am. So you are in this current battle to raise your spiritual truth. And that's equal to self-awareness. So people are like, oh, spirituality, spiritual. No, it's your self-awareness. Am I aware of myself and where I get emotionally high, low, high, low? And the less you know about your soul, the more your subconscious, which all that little 9-year-old protocol of safety got pushed down below the surface. So you don't even know it's playing you. It is playing you hard. So your soul, when you look at these categories of your life, and your subconscious is in charge and your subconscious is unchecked, it's what's revealing your self-worth and what you attract in areas of health and wealth and love. Does this make sense, my friends? Okay, remember, I will always post this chart, okay, in the Facebook with Don Thompson, Truth Tribe with Don Thompson wall. So if you want this to kind of remind you, oh, that's right, I got a circle where my 4 hotspots lie. I'll leave it there, and then you can grab it and kind of remind yourself your 4 hotspots or your 4 categories that you get tripped up in are in a different spot. Okay. So I'll tap in at the Q&A if you want to share with me, if you have your chart with you, what your hot spots are. Okay. What your weak spots are if you circled them on that category. Okay. But first, everybody repeat after me. We have to start choosing our dream life now. You cannot focus around all this external bullshit, which I'm going to tap into why it's happening so intensely right now with the transiting planets that are affecting the entire planet and you personally. Okay. So everybody repeat after me. I teleport into my dream reality now. Clap 3 times. One more time. I teleport into my dream reality now. Every time you say that, you're jumping timelines. Energetically, it's hard for you to all understand this, but you're living the timeline you want. So teleport. I jump to my dream reality now. Now, remember, I've told you this in many lifetime or many truth tribes. If you want a dream reality that's extremely pulled off from the 9-year-old subconscious, you're going to have to work the self-awareness and know I have to override it. I have to reprogram myself. I have to revisit it. I have to reprogramming, and I have to realign with what I want. So it might not be easy sometimes because you are literally living a new life because the 9-year-old says, no, 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 it's not safe if we do that. So this is why I keep reminding you, pick what you want and then take baby steps. Okay. So let's talk about the planetary update because this is what you're all feeling right now. And people have been asking me left and right, what the heck is going on? Okay. So Sunday coming up, I'm going to tap into it in a little bit. I'm going to kind of give you something that's happening before it. But Sunday on the 21st, there's a second full moon in Capricorn. And it's happening this month. It's very rare because there's 2 full moons in the same sign of Capricorn in 1 month. And so I'll touch on that in a minute. Okay, first what I want to touch on is from the 6th until the 16th is happening, right? So more potently from the 14th, which yesterday, through tomorrow, through the 16th, okay? There is this conjunction in the sky. So remember, when we look up in the sky and we look at all the planets up there, and some of the planets, they're not technically sitting on each other, right? But some of the planets get so close into the same constellation that they literally are having a big old party sitting on top of each other. So we have 3 planets, planet Mars, the planet Uranus, and a fixed star called Algol. I'm not going to touch on Algol too much because it's a fixed star that moves a degree like every 94 years. So you'll never see it move in a lifetime. So it doesn't really matter. But because Mars and Uranus are sitting on top, they're called a conjunction. And Mars is sitting on top as the energizer. It ignites rules. It rules metal, war, warriors. So it's igniting warrior in all of you, as well as everyone on the planet, the collective. It is a very rare moment right now, and it's very important because Uranus is also sitting on top of those 2. So they're having a little conjunction party. They're all at the same party right now in the same constellation. And because of that, Uranus is sudden events. Oh, what happened yesterday? A sudden event. Sudden events or change with aggression, because Mars rules aggression. It's the planet of war. And the future and how it's time to see from the sky, because Uranus rules the sky, astrology, the stars, the future, okay? To look from the sky as it rules the big picture. This is linked to sudden awakenings, sudden change, seismic changes, like activity that's like literal earthquakes, political earthquakes. Yeah, someone just said Saturday. I'm off on my days. But again, from the 6th till tomorrow, the 16th, this stuff was causing awakenings. So political earthquakes, financial earthquakes, because they are in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is linked to banking and financial currencies, and it's an eruptive, explosive energy like fireworks. So it's lighting up and shocking things that could be like internet cuts, power cuts, cyber attacks, such as, right, the news as of Saturday, right? That shocking assassination event thing of the president. Okay. So my point is that that's just a visual experience. Now you could have shocking out of the blue conversations, or in your romance, in your health, in your wealth, in your love. And I want you to be prepared because it's not just what you saw on TV, it's in your own life. Okay, so this is symbolic, not physical, like, so, oh my God, I'm going to die. They're going to cut out the electricity. No. So it's dissolving the current political structure with sides, polarity, division. Why? It's awakening humanity. It's awakening to community because Aquarius rules humanity, right? Aquarius rules collective groups. And so it's saying, you know what, this polarity and division, we need to end it. We're going to come together. These are forced awakenings of change, forcing us to go forward and change and be rebellious and be revolutionary, because all these beliefs, as Uranus says, I'm going to bring it suddenly and unpredictable. And it's going to force your mind to open up to change about health, wealth, and love. Again, it could be any of the topics and categories on that wheel, but those are the big ones that come up. forcing you to break routines and break your rules and break your patterns, 9-year-old patterns. You don't realize you're doing it until I tell you, go think about it. When you look at your parents' marriage, are you bringing it in? If you don't have IDI Academy, again, if you want to wait till August, I'm going to do a free event. If you don't want to wait till August and you're like, I need to know my childhood programming and patterns, go get the IDI Academy on my website and do just the first three, the 6 sessions. The first 2 sessions will tell you exactly what you learned from mom and dad and what you have to undo as a 9-year-old. So this awakening, guys, is bringing change in you, not just in you, but the collective that you've already outgrown. We've all outgrown it. We've outgrown all of this and we know it, but we're like, how do I undo this? We get self-aware because you cannot avoid it, right? Seeing your subconscious and making it conscious, pulling it out from underneath the table and looking at it and going, when you make it conscious for emotional regulation, it sets you on the next level of success basically in all areas of your life. Okay. So that's happening. All right. Now let's tap into what's happening on Sunday. Full moon in Capricorn on the 21st. You're already feeling it and you're going to keep feeling it stronger and stronger and stronger. Now remember, at the beginning of the month of June, we had a full moon in Capricorn. It wasn't as potent. Full moons are about closure and clearing out the old. It's about pouring a new foundation, a new way of living, not clinging to old box thinking personally and or collectively. If it's polarizing, it's not the truth. It's external stuff that they're trying, the external wizards, it's all this external stuff trying to program you so you don't think for yourself. Capricorn is linked to the planet Saturn. That rules, get ready, government. So this full moon is probably going to bring, just so you know, another whammo by Sunday that happened from last Saturday. So leadership might get awakened, versions of leadership, security, foundation, structure. And it's unusual to have 2 full moons in a row in the same sign. So this is known as a blue moon, right? So that, you know how they say like, oh, it only happens once in a blue moon. That's why they call it a blue moon. This is it. Okay. So if you have your own chart, your birth chart, you can go look and see where 29 degrees of Capricorn sits in your chart. Okay. If you understand that, if you don't, and go look at the course. But this full moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and that's where the moon and our sun are opposing each other. Remember, the sun's down here, it shines onto the moon and it fills it up. They're exactly equal and opposite at 29 degrees. Okay. And so on June 1st, we had that full moon in Capricorn as well. But this full moon is happening at this critical degree. Remember, there's 30 days in a month. There's 30 days in a constellation. And so this full moon is at the last degree of Capricorn, which we call a critical degree. It's a crisis degree. It's called the aneretic degree. It's the last degree of any sign. And it's known to bring a sense of, you're going to feel like this urgency of letting go or an urgency of change, an urgency of, like a crisis feeling or a frenzy around the symbolism of, I need a new foundation. I need new security. I need to build something better. I need to be a better leader. I need to lead myself. Okay. The symbolism of that sign is going to come out and you're going to like, I got this, but you're going to feel the need to do it more deeply, wherever that category it sits in your chart. Capricorn is about government, corporations, institutions, big banking, big business, where we see inequality, where we have elites, where we have power over the people. So this is also your own career, your own stability, your own structure, your own inability to take back power over yourself. So expect your emotions, because the moon rules emotions, around any old health, any old wealth, and any old love structures or 9-year-old protocols and protection to be up for renewal. I'm preparing you. Don't say I didn't tell you, I didn't warn you, but it's there. Okay. It's coming up for everyone. And you don't even need to know any of the details of these signs and planets. I just want you to know it's going to come up. So maybe you might get in an argument with someone that breaks open a truth and you're like, oh my God, I had no idea. And you rebuild a new foundation. Right. And then we add to this that I've been preparing you all for the last several years. It was coming. Pluto is also in a conjunction. And that Pluto is also sitting on the moon, opposing the sun. Okay. And so I'm sure I didn't say that. It's not sitting on the moon. So it's sitting in Aquarius, which is opposing this like right by the Capricorns. It's super close. Okay. Pluto's at 29 degrees Capricorn. So they're all sitting there in this party. Okay. Pluto and the moon at 29 degrees. Okay. And so this is also going to bring up power issues, right? So Capricorns, wherever it sits in your chart, whatever house, whatever category. So just think of Pluto's at 29 degrees Capricorn and the moon's creeping along all week. And then it's going to sit at 29 degrees of Capricorn. And the two are going to go, we need to blow this crap up and lay a new foundation. Okay. And so it not only brings up power issues in the world, but also brings out power issues in your own personal life on a personal level. Capricorn is about mastering yourself, disciplining yourself, our foundation, your mental mastery, your inner power for not only this life, but many lifetimes, right? For so long, humans have accepted external power sources of authority, and now we're all being called to see our own inner authority, our own sovereignty, our own inner blueprints of like, oh my gosh, I'm so amazing. Actually, I see my weak spots. I can up my game. I have power because I know who I am. And because the ruling planet of Capricorn is Saturn, and it's in Pisces that we discussed last week, this is our spiritual authority, our self-worth. I've talked a lot about this in my last videos of living, many of my videos about living inside out. And this is going to flop from what it's already flopped. It's inverted from what it used to be, which is external, telling us who we are and how to live. We're done. We're totally done, my friends. So remember, this full moon in Capricorn is very intense because the moon and Pluto are encouraging death of the old and rebirth of the new. And it will bring up intense emotions, intense feelings, because the moon rules emotions. And so ask yourself, are you holding on to anything or any belief that is causing you to feel low? And because Pluto is in Aquarius right now, but it's just barely in Aquarius, it's so close to that 29 degree of Capricorn. It's like at 1 degree, I think, of Aquarius. So it's also focusing on the end of the old world because Aquarius rules the future and the beginning of the new world. And Aquarius is ruling the future of the collective, humanitarian, freedom from control of external sources. So this full moon is going to bring up not just financial, but emotional security and its final shift out of our inner jails, right? Because that final 29 degrees becomes really activated and really hot. And we have to get majorly into self-awareness of our inner issues. That you go, is that really how I want to live my life? Or am I living what always kept me safe and it doesn't keep me safe anymore? So from this point on, we have a lot of burning down of old social systems in our life, old personal systems of our own habitual subconscious systems. But that's where the safety lies. So it may surface a lot and bring up personally and externally, right, in the world, like really big, scary emotions and things and experiences that are like, oh my God, I'm not okay. You're okay. Okay, you're okay because you just got to pick your dream life. And we just transported and teleported to our dream reality. Okay, so please ask yourself when things come up that are scaring you, is this even true? Please ask yourself if you're going to keep your focus and your attention on your dream reality and what do you want in health, wealth, and love. And if someone says, you can't do that, you can't heal that, call bullshit. Go start researching natural remedies. There's so much out there now that I can tell you that there's a natural remedy for every ailment on this planet. God made it and it's there. Look for it, my friends. When it comes to wealth, there are so many opportunities for you to redirect yourself. Self-learning, YouTube galore, free learning on how to increase your wealth. Love. The second you know your insecurities, that you can share that with someone and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm improving. This is what I'm expanding. I'm 10xing my life. Do you want to come with me? Those who don't will say no. And those who do go, I'm in. That's how you attract healthy love or build it with your partner. So it's going to make it easier for you to let go of the old world that is burning down when you know you. Because when we do that, it lessens our internal fear or panic or anger. Okay, which only gives away our power when you're falling into that external fear mongering BS. All right, all that old crap, my friends, is ending. We are creating a new world in a spiritual context, which is only symbolic for basic words, self-awareness of our personal truth, which is why we are learning more about our own charts, our own personalities, our own personal blueprints, so we can take back our power and truly know ourselves and your gifts of why you came to this earth. Okay? Everybody tap into your thymus right here, your immunity, your nervous system. Repeat after me. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. Tap your head. I know love. I know courage. I know truth. I know love. I know courage. I know truth. Okay. I'm going to open up Q&A and anybody who's feeling, let's just, if you know your chart, you want me to answer on some of it, I will. But I want you guys to open the Q&A of, if you want questions, or they don't have to be on anything. You can ask anything you want. I can give you the insight energetically. Who is feeling emotional childhood safety protocols surfacing? Like this illogical, why I'm doing this or doing that or attracting this or attracting that, or old stuff's coming up that I don't need to do anymore. Who's feeling that? Because that's a really big thing that's coming up right now. And when it does, it's really great to look at it and go, oh my gosh, I can choose a new path. I can choose a new way. I can choose to look at my emotional state and see what's coming up. So someone here said, my moon is sitting in my 5th house of fun and romance. It's also ruled, that house category is also children and creativity, offspring, fun. And so this person probably struggles with their moon to regulate their emotions and lose themselves in their children and their romance over fun that they would like to be having. And so they get emotionally pulled off and they start getting anxiety and overwhelmed and stressed out. And that can get you in trouble if you aren't regulating, knowing that you aren't in charge for fun and creativity and all these things. Your chart, my friends, is always about you. It's not about the external people involved, but we make it about them because that's what these topics include. So when you're putting emotional regulation into you in fun, romance, children, fun, creativity first, then it's okay when they're struggling because you're full, you're empowered, you're not emotionally pulled off and you get into a weakened state, and that's anxiety kicks in. Is that true? Is that how that's kicking in for you? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So the next question that came in here is, why do we attract our parents' unhealthy love if it was traumatic? It's a very good question. So a 5 or 9-year-old doesn't have discernment, my friends. None of you did. None of us did, right? You just did what you woke up and then they told you this and do that, and you just did it, right? You just wanted to play. You were creative. You were a soul that said, I came with a blueprint. I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. So maybe of you were shy. Some of you were extroverts. You just were that. Okay. And so a 9-year-old, 5-year-old doesn't have discernment to determine healthy or unhealthy. It's just what they see and feel in their environment. That's love. So they are masters at using their intuitive, energetic GPS to move to safety. They're masters of it. So what you learned as a child is your user's manual to continue to stay safe, even if it was unhealthy. Right. And so it's why we stay so long now as an adult, because you don't think, well, it's not unhealthy. You just think that's how it is. So then we stay too long in dysfunctional relationships, and it could be marriage, partners, it could be career relationships, money relationships, family relationships, our own relationship to our mental health. It could be any of that. But we stay mostly in partnership dysfunctional relationships that your soul knows you don't deserve, but you're unaware of this self, your inner self that is acting out like a 9-year-old protocols to love, you know is not love you want. That's why we attract our parents in unhealthy love. This is why I did the IDI Academy, because you literally go through the iPod, which breaks down what you downloaded from mom and dad as healthy love and unhealthy love. Then you break down what you're sending out to partners and going, oh crap, I'm literally telling all the partners, this is the crappy love I want. And you're getting them going, no, not me. We all do it. So don't think you're exempt. It doesn't make it bad. It just means I'm telling you, the planetary energies are going to either force you out of it and it's going to be painful, or you're going to look at yourself and go, oh my gosh, I truly get it now. I get myself, and I'm going to keep myself into alignment with me first, own a foundation of what makes me stable and happy, and everyone can then align when they're ready. Okay. So there's another question coming in here. 1 second. All right. All right. Someone says abandonment. Uh-oh. The moon is in Sag. Let's see. In the 3rd house. So your moon sign sits in Sag in the 3rd house. No, you're talking about your birth chart, not your transiting, right? Are you sure your moon is in the 3rd house, my dear? This person, I think I've seen her chart so many times. I'm not sure that it really is in the 3rd house. In your birth chart, in the inner wheel, abandonment, like, is it in that chart? So what she feels when her moon comes up and her moon sign is regulated, it's in Sagittarius. Yes, thank you. And it's in your 3rd house of communication. That's where your moon is sitting, or is it in your 5th house? I think it's in your 5th house. So if the moon is in the 3rd house, it's in the 5th house. Okay. So the moon in Sagittarius in the 5th house is feeling like you probably had to grow up too soon. If it's in Sagittarius, you had to follow a lot of rules and a lot of, structure, and your belief systems were told you had to do it this way, that way, organized. This was the doctrine of how to be a good kid. And so you probably had to grow up into this law of emotions, right? And so you didn't get to have those emotions. And so when you broke those rules, and you broke, we'll call them laws, those laws in the house and laws in the family, right? You got in trouble, and you wanted to just have fun, but then you would get in trouble, and you didn't get to have fun. So you were a little grown up too fast. And so now you're here learning how to give yourself more fun. You're laying out a new belief system, like a new little Bible, but your own doctrine of life, your own beliefs, your own laws, your own rules, writing your own rules for life that help you say, you know what? I want to go explore. I want to travel. I want to live my best life. I want to have fun because I didn't get to grow up like a normal kid. So you have it the opposite of you weren't emotionally protecting, you were emotionally staying straight and steady and organized so you wouldn't get, ignored maybe. She's saying abandoned. That's how she felt, like she was abandoned from siblings. And again, we have to look at this from family issues, from children. She was not included. And that's okay. You didn't want to get in trouble. There's the rules. So now you have to go and find a happy medium and a happy balance in your life that's supporting this new reality, which is I want to lay my own rules. I can do whatever I want. And you have to be careful of pushing the limit too far, where it's going to get you in legal trouble because you want to have so much fun and you want to do it your way. It's a happy medium, my friends. Think of the moon as emotions, and think of water. It flows just around things. But when it gets stuck and it can't get out of a box, rules, as she's saying, it will expand, explode, and then it causes havoc and messiness. You all have to be in control of the emotions, whatever house it is, right? If it's in your 1st house of self-esteem, you have to start regulating locations and places where you don't feel self-confident. And you have to start doing things where you feel so emotionally overwhelmed and nervous that you have to step into it and do it to grow that emotional self-confidence and realize you're okay, you won't explode. If you have the moon in your second house of money, big one. I have to have money, always working. I gotta have more, I gotta have more, I gotta build it. And instead of creating money, you gotta say, no, no, I have to create my value. I have to create how beautiful I am and flow around things and get more value every time I go somewhere and do things, build my life and make it valuable and create a mindset of how valuable I am. Okay. And so this is a big deal. So what I'm trying to say is when you look at the moon, right, it's definitely an aspect where we experienced mom, but mom and dad. The moon is our emotions. So it's the femininity. You could have a very sensitive dad. So, don't put it one way or another. Okay. Another question just came in. It said, if you had a challenging mom or lack of affection, will you attract partners who are unaffectionate? Yes. If you haven't done the work to see where that moon or your emotions are still playing 9-year-old emotional shutdown, right? Because if you want to become self-aware now, it's because you have to start looking and going, oh my gosh, am I attracting emotionally unavailable people who aren't there for me? It's because you've shut down your own emotional regulator to stay safe at 9, right? Instead, you have to start trusting your gut. So you must start with, you might be the emotionally blocked person. You might be the one that's attracting your same energy or sonar. And we don't like to admit that. And typically it's where the moon is. So we'll give and we'll give and we're like, look what I'm doing for you. But at the end of the day, where that little inner child is, you're really just giving what you're good at, but you're not giving in a sense of, this is who I am, not what I have to give up of myself. And that's the difference. So if you don't realize you're emotionally shut down, it's going to trip you up. Does that make sense? Okay. Anybody else? You guys can ask any questions you want. They do not have to be in astrology. They can be about the energy. They can be about ascension. But I'm trying to make one thing very clear tonight. If you're on this call, spirituality that is going to go off the charts for every year from this point forward, especially in the next 2 years, is not spiritual. It's not woo-woo. It's not religion. It's not even about God. You are omnipresent. You are an image of God. Whatever you believe, wherever belief system you have, it doesn't matter. You are an image of God. And if you are not seeing the goddess or God inside of you, that is what self-awareness is. And that is why spirituality is waking up and saying, spirituality is being aware of myself and all of my insecurities and subconscious stuff I ignore and all of my badass, beautiful, amazing gifts that I need to also 10x. We're here to 10x all of our life, my friends, not just the little stuff that scares us and upsets us and traumatized us and abandoned us and all of that. That's just for you to look at and say, oh, hell no, we're done, right? We are done with this. We're not doing this anymore. And no, thank you. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to do it perfect every time. I've been going through a shitload of stuff. I mean, tons of deep, deep stuff. And I'm not going to tell you it hasn't pissed me off, just like all of you. It hasn't upset me. It hasn't made me frustrated. But each time I do, I ask myself, is that the 9-year-old Dawn? Oh my gosh, I'm totally repeating that. Right. And instead of the 9-year-old, I'm going, but what does adult Dawn want? Does this raise my energy if I want that? Yes. Does this thing I'm going to go do drain my energy? I've simplified this down. I'm just giving you guys the chart to add to a category going, oh, wow. My own moon sign and wherever Capricorn sits in my chart are gonna get flared up in the next 2 weeks. So if you know those, it's gonna give you regulation and going, don't lose yourself in other people. Don't get lost in their emotions because they're gonna break down and you're gonna be the badass lighthouse. We've talked about this. When you're so shining within because you know who you are at the core, you don't move. You just shine your beautiful, amazing, confident self, knowing, I know I don't like it right there. I don't know, I'm not good at that department. I know I get insecure. I've shared this with all of you when we talked about Chiron. It's up in my public house. So don't get me wrong, when I get on stage or when I have to do public events and stuff like that, I am shaking in my boots right before. And then I get on, I'm like, oh, that's right. They just want to know what I already know. And then I'm me. But for whatever reason, it's still there. It doesn't stop me. This moon and this full moon coming in doesn't stop you. It's just going to create explosions in your life to look. And if you can just look at yourself and go, I own it. I see it from the 9-year-old. I repeated it. I don't want to do it anymore. I know who I want to be. And then tell somebody. Tell a friend, say, this is how I see myself. This is who I want to be. And I'm going to stop repeating that because I see myself doing it here. That's how simplistic this gets. And if you lose yourself in people, spouses, people in your family, people in your community, people on the news, the TV wizards who are lying their asses, I don't care what side either anymore. I'm telling you guys, there are no sides. Polarity is dying. So if you pick a side, stop. Pick love, pick truth, pick shit doesn't add up anymore. And you all know this. We don't care anymore. You just need to go, wait, I need to just let this go and start taking care of my health, my wealth, and my love. Anybody here want to give me one of the things you're seeing flare up the most? I've got like 5 minutes. Anybody want to give me a comment on which one is flaring you up the most right now? Is it your health? My health has been the biggie. I've literally been hell-bent on literally taking myself next level health, not letting my health ever be told to me that, you're not going to get better. Oh, there's a problem. There's no problem, right? Someone else is bringing up love and marriage. Of course, because you can't have the old love and marriage. The old white picket fence is bullshit, dead and gone. We have to know ourselves so our partner can go, you're stable, you're good? Yeah. Are you stable? You're good? Yeah. So when one person goes down a little bit, this person doesn't move and they go, you got it. And they pull you back up again. And this person kind of dips and you're just kind of ebbing and flowing. But this person does all the work and this person's a dead rock down here. Guess what happens? It's going to get old, draining, exhausting because you're doing all the work for them and they don't want to come back up to you. For someone else, it's love and receiving it. Emily, if you have your chart, do you know where your moon sits? Can you remind me what house, what category, if you know? Even if not, you don't need to know. But that's a really big deal we're all struggling with right now is, do I deserve to receive love? And masculine, feminine is in the 11th house. So this is a big deal because you stepping out into the world and being the leader for your gifts and your talents and your beauty, that's what attracts love. And when it gets to you, it's going to scare the crap out of you because I'm betting your 9-year-old self has some serious protection and safety protocols. Am I right? So for you to go out there, that's a lot of freaking people. The 11th house rules public, the masses, leading the humanity. So when you get out in public, there's a lot of people that can mess with this safety and security the little 9-year-old has. And I'm telling you, that moon sign will trip your asses up every time. So it's really vital you understand. I fear being judged. Yes, and I judge myself too much. Exactly. And what I want you to understand is nobody's judging you. They're desiring to be you. They're learning from you. They feel your energy confidence and they say, I really want to be like her. I really want to be more like that energy who can step up and teach us these amazing things. That's the energy people are looking for, my friends. So it's you learning to override that emotional dysregulation and stand up and not be judged. Because I bet money your 9-year-old self, your little 5-year-old self was judged quite a bit. And so now all you know is how to be criticized. Okay, you got this. You got the baby steps out there, just sharing a little bit of your love and being light. I love it. All right, my friends. So you all are going to get through this and become like mind blown when a lot of this old full moon stuff dies off and it breaks apart and leaves your life because you're stepping into the dream life and the emotional regulation. Go, no. I'm not going to let anyone pull me off in that category. I'm going to keep walking. And you're going to feel it. So don't think like when something explodes, you go, no, Dom prepared me. This is for me to let go so I can pick a new life. That's all that's happening, okay? As of tonight, I gotta remind everybody again, make sure you join the Facebook Truth Tribe group. It's Truth Tribe with Dawn Thompson. It's free, but I'll add up the wheel again there tonight or tomorrow-ish. And so you can remember to highlight those 4 categories after you take Zodiac Wheels, your medicine wheel class. It's $9. It's not a big deal, but it'll get you the information quickly. So you're like, what is she talking about? You can always just listen because I always just give you highlights for a topic, always at the beginning of Truth Tribe. But I always want you to leave with going, okay, I can do better in that category of my life. Also, remember to like and share on all of the social media channels. Follow me on them. Invite a friend every night that you come so that you're discussing what you learn. This is what creates greater self-awareness, just not just holding it. Okay. So remember, if you want to do a mini review of your hotspots or you don't know them, go grab Zodiac Wheel as your medicine wheel. I'll put the course links in the notes. But keep it with yourself like that and highlight it and go, am I struggling one of those areas when you get low? And you're going to go, yep. And that's when you're going to turn that light back on. Okay. If not, you're like, I need to know where my 9-year-old self is controlling me and it's subconscious and I don't see it, but I'm pissed all the time and I don't want to be that way. Right? You need to elevate that energy out of the 9-year-old into the adult self. That's the IDI Academy. Again, I'm going to open only to the Truth Tribe in about a week, the free live IDI Academy that's happening in August, the end of August. Just email me or message me if you'd like, if you want to get in the waiting list before then and get your spot. Info@ideserveitnow.com and just type in yes, IDI Academy, and I'll ping you the early registration. And then last, the DMT method, as I always tell you guys, this is activating all 12 categories of your entire life to 10x. Literally, we do not play around. We're going to take your entire life and 10x it and show you how to ask yourself, am I willing to look at all of me and become Christ-like? Such a bright light, so brilliant that no one feels anything but power when they're around me. Okay. If you're listening to this after the live session on YouTube or Spotify, remember the links are always in the notes below. If you're looking for them, you guys know, find me with any questions. Ever, ever. I am here to help. That's why I do these calls. It doesn't have to be a topic I talk about because I've done this for so many years. There's a topic out there and we can talk about it and open it up. I want you all to have self-awareness. That's what my intention is, to raise the self-worth of this planet. And by golly, it's going to happen, whether it's 1 or 100 at a time. We're making this happen. Okay. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. I love you all very much.